Hi and welcome to UC Partner Summit 2022. So this year's event theme is Powering Partners, and in this panel session we're going to be discussing the future of channel business. So in this session I'm joined by Union Street Technologies, Pexip and Spectralink. Welcome everybody.
Hello.
Hi Rob.
Good morning.
Well, thanks for joining me, and excited to talk to you today about the future of channel business. Just before we get started, however, let's do a quick round of introductions. Gareth, would you like to go first?
Yes, so my name's Gareth Pritchard. I'm Marketing Manager for Union Street Technologies. Union Street's the UK's leading provider of billing and provisioning solutions. We serve around 1,000 channel partners, and it's an exciting market to be in.
Thanks, Gareth. Andy.
Hey, good morning. I'm Andy McQueen, and I work for a company called Spectralink. Spectralink make the devices and infrastructure that keep key business-critical deskless and frontline workers connected to their colleagues.
Thanks, Andy. And Nicole.
Hi everybody, nice to see you all today. My name's Nicole Denage. I am the VP of Global Channel for a Norwegian global video SaaS organization called Pexip. We've been around since 2009. We're a $100 million organization. We are pure channel. Everything that we do is channel first. We provide video solutions for organizations that are focused on what I would call secure and critical meetings, for organizations that need to make sure that data integrity stays within certain frameworks. We also are providing video at the back end for what we now call B2C and B2B. It's a given that video is now an accepted and expected technology as we deliver and work both remote and hybrid today. But we're now looking at how video can now be deployed in the back end of lots of different types of workflow and applications, particularly in different verticals. Nice to see everybody today. Thanks for having us, Rob.
Fantastic, thanks for that. So today we said we'd talk about the direction of which channel partners should be traveling in nowadays. You know, is it best to specialize? Is it best to generalize in today's evolving market? You know, because things have really changed recently. So, and also what channel partners, I suppose should be looking for, that might indicate a change in strategy. So, really interesting topic today, but certainly focused around kind of that, should we generalize, should we specialize? So I suppose to kick things off, Gareth, I thought I'd go to you first on this one. Just to set the scene, I mean, what's the general mood like out there right now post-pandemic? Are channel partners thriving, or are they just about surviving?
There's just a wealth of opportunities around at the moment. I think the pandemic's sped on the kind of evolution of communications by 5 years at least. So you've got a lot of opportunities on the horizon. You've got 5G, the cloud migration. Pretty much everyone was forced to move away from on-premise deployment of their communications networks to cloud due to the pandemic. I don't know if they all necessarily got the right solution for them, so there's been a lot of kind of upgrading and moving around in those solutions since then. At the same time, in the UK, we've got 2.4 million connections that need to be switched over to VoIP over the next couple of years, and that's an enormous opportunity for the channel. So it's good. If there's a cloud on the horizon, it's the kind of big squeeze that we're all under at the moment, where you've got these increasing cost pressures rising. Particularly, I think Amazon and Microsoft have just put up the price of their cloud services considerably. There's similar rises in costs all across the board. So I think it's an important time to really concentrate on margins and make sure you're getting the proposition right for the end user.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's some interesting points there. Andy, what are things looking like from your perspective at Spectralink?
Actually, a lot of similar themes from what Gareth was talking about. The move from an on-premise PBX set of appliances to a cloud-delivered service is driving a technology change to enable us to do things like this. What we have to remember is there's a whole bunch of people out there who have to go to a physical place to do their job. And that's where Spectralink are really keen to bring those two areas of technology together, similar to what Gareth was talking about. So there's a market shift. That market shift was to enable as many people as possible to work from home. Now we see real recognition of those deskless and frontline workers and their needs as part of the organization that delivers customer experience for our customers. And that's what the channel needs to make sure they have a really good solution for.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels really positive, doesn't it? It does feel like a positive market right now, although we are challenged with, certainly things we can't control. Certainly, I am picking up the general kind of mood is very, very positive. Nicole, what's it look like from your perspective?
Yeah, so from our partners' perspective, in our space in the world, I think there's a lot of business out there. COVID really did drive the UC space. Suddenly we all had to communicate in a remote way, right? So as I said at the beginning when I opened up on my bio, we are now expecting, or the industry is expecting, for us to be able to communicate in this way. I think the Microsoft Teams situation has really, really driven that as well as all the different cloud service providers and their capabilities there. What I would say though is that I think post-pandemic, we're now in a different shift, right? Especially in the last month or so. I think there are other concerns that are happening around the world, particularly around sort of geopolitical side of things, where security now is becoming sort of the hot topic on everybody's lips in this space. And so what we're seeing our partners and their customers looking at is, we went one of two ways, really, and that was kind of Zoom for communication or Microsoft Teams. Are they the secure platforms that we need to have? And in some cases, absolutely right. But in certain fields, our customers or our partners are saying that maybe there are some questions on that. In terms of are they surviving or are they thriving? As I said, yes, lots of business out there, but I think that the sales cycles of stuff is taking a little bit longer now as people are making sure that the decisions that they made when they had to make them fast were the right decisions, echoing Andy's point and also Gareth's. So, that kind of consolidation, looking to see whether that was the right thing. There is a lot of partners echoing what I'm saying here around people taking a little bit more time to make those decisions and deploy whatever it is that they need to deploy.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And business models, I suppose, have really changed, haven't they? So channel partner business models have really changed in the past 2 years as well. They've had to adapt to, UCaaS and CCaaS and all these other products. I mean, video, this is video's time now, isn't it? If you're going to sell video, this is the time to sell video. So, but we do have some threats, don't we? We do have, a lot of big brands, big tech brands coming in, selling direct into customer bases and whatnot. So it's I suppose it's never going to be easy, is it? But my next question, I suppose, Andy, we'll go to you first on this one. Is kind of, more around this kind of, what's the best business model here? What's the best approach? I mean, I think, specialised market or generalise, are channel partners, doing one or the other nowadays? What do end customers want as well? What's your view? What are your channel partners kind of doing and saying right now?
It's a great question. What we see is that there's an element of generalization that's needed because pretty much everything, to Nicole's point, is service delivery and OPEX revenue models. So that's the generalization piece. But we see that our partners are really being incredibly successful where they specialize in the specific user needs and use cases of the customers. So that knowledge and leveraging that knowledge is really working very well for them because we've seen a sort of cycle of commoditization of some capabilities, and now we're seeing the value in specialization in those key verticals. We specifically work in those manufacturing verticals and industrial verticals, for example, that is paying benefits to those channel partners.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? And Nicole, you take a slightly different, or you wear a slightly different lens here, don't you, from Pex's point of view on doing video software. What's it look like from your perspective?
Kind of, although I absolutely echo wholeheartedly what Andy's just said. So one of the things that we're seeing, and the way that PEXIP has had to shift its go-to-market strategy, is around the vertical focus. And the reason for that is because of the integration into workflow, right? So when you're talking about embedded video into a customer's workflow, you have to do that on a vertical application basis. So when we're talking about the channel partner and generalization and specialization, I think the specialization is still required, but it's more around the integration of workflow into the vertical application, rather than product based, which is what it has primarily been in the past. So I think there is a call for both. You know, I think partners need to have a knowledge of everything that underpins a customer's communication strategy, be it network, be it security, be it, you know, meeting room solutions, whatever that may be, you know, telephony, whatever. They need to have an understanding of all that, but then how that then integrates into the workflow for that particular vertical. And I see that, you know, any channel partner that shifts towards that environment are the ones that are going to really be successful this year and into the coming.
And I'm assuming in, you know, competitive sales environments, if you've got a specialist versus a generalist, you know, that's really wrapping a solution around, you know, a vertical industry that the customer's operating in, that's always going to be a winning edge to the conversations that you're having. Is that fair to say, or what would you say?
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
That's key.
Andy,
Sorry,
you
go.
ask. You go first.
No, I think it's key. It's really valid that if you have a sub-industry vertical capability and proven experience, that's of incredible value to your customers, in the same way as having knowledge of meeting specific use cases in a video deployment is incredibly powerful to those adjacent market areas. So I think as a partner, being able to identify your core skill areas and leveraging those is going to be incredibly important, while you have the commoditization of how those things are actually delivered as a cloud-based service.
Yeah. And just leading on from that, sorry, Rob, to finish what I was going to say around that. It's really interesting for me. When I started in video, it was all about business solution. We never talked tech. It was because the tech was so far advanced that nobody really understood it. So it was all around the business outcomes. I would say over the last maybe 10 years, it's commoditization of those types of conversations, right? Hardware is a piece of hardware. The software is the software. I feel that in the last couple of years, because of this shift to vertical applications and understanding of that vertical solution or that industry, having the knowledge base around that, we're now talking at a very different level back to business outcomes. And that is a really good and positive shift for all of our channel partners, because that's where we can add value. Nobody makes money out of shifting tin or shifting software licenses. It's all around business outcomes and adding value, and how our channel partners can really make the most of that. So absolutely echo all of this.
And Gareth, what do things look like from Union Street's perspective? You know, because billing, are you able to kind of pick up on these specialisms, and you know, is that a trend within your business?
Yeah, I think that the general trend is towards the kind of consolidation of all ICT services, and you know, what we've been seeing is that there's a growing demand from end users to have a single source supplier for all of the products that they want. So I think, while there's always going to be a place for kind of specialism, the generalization of services is really the way that probably most resellers should try and move towards. There's, I think, you know, a lot of benefits to it. You're able to lock out competition by, you know, providing more. If you're leaving anything on the table, then another competitor is going to come along and maybe they offer services that you also do. So I think there's a lot less vulnerability to disruption as well if you've got a quite broad portfolio of services that you're able to offer your customers. So I think, as I say, specialization will always have its place, but you want to be careful not to over specialize. And I completely agree that specialization in the verticals is probably where it's going to be at, rather than specialization in products. So.
Yeah, it's a good point, isn't it? To have that balance sounds quite crucial. Next question though. So Nicole, what should channel partners be looking for that might indicate a change in strategy is needed? Change to that model, that go to market.
Sure. So just leading on, I guess, from the point I was making, which is around profitability, right? There's lots of business, there's lots of endpoints being sold, there's lots of technology being sold, but are you making margins on it? Are you making profit? There's lots of work out there, and I think that's the key indicator for any channel partner now. Yeah, the books look healthy because the engineers are out, right? The books look healthy because the revenue is up, but it's that bottom line that I think all channel partners should be looking at, and really looking at both Gareth and Andy's point: specialization, services, integration services, value add to the customer, right? As well as being that single source of supplier potentially as well. If a channel partner can do both, then I think, that again, key to success. Not all channel partners will be able to do all of that, so they will have to make a decision of which way they go. But I think profitability is what everybody should be looking at right now, not just the fact that the phones are ringing, the emails are coming in and the orders are coming in, because certainly from the partners that we have, that is the big number one desire when they talk to PEXIP is, how do I make money? How do I add value? How do I become sticky in my customer? To Gareth's point, once a channel partner is in, they need to close the doors, because everybody can take a little bit of the pie, and then once somebody comes in, that then opens the door and opens the risk for a lot of their core business to disappear. So I think looking at the profitability, look at the value add services is what I would be suggesting to partners, and I'm sure they all are right now.
Yeah, and that does make perfect sense. Gareth, being a billing and analytics business, what's that look like from your view?
I think it's just listening to your sales team and finding out, what is going on in the market, really. If you're winning sales, why are you winning them? If you're losing sales, why are you losing them? What is it that the customer's really looking for? And is there a consistent reason that you're finding for, trends in specific verticals particularly? Is there's something that they need that you're not able to provide? And it's trying to partner with the right suppliers that can help you fulfill that need, that will be able to allow you to overcome those objections, and just, as Nicole says, to close those doors.
I was interested to kind of understand whether that would be something from your billing software perspective that maybe partners could keep an eye on. From I imagine you've got a lot of kind of margin analysis and things like that, margin analysis tools within your software.
Yeah.
Is that something that that can help partners kind of identify these changes in their business and their customer base potentially?
Yeah, I think it's important to be able to kind of drill into your revenues and really understand what's working and what's not, and where the profit is, because just because you can offer a service doesn't necessarily mean you should. If you're not able to make it work for you, you may be able to. There's some situations where you might offer something as a loss leader because it means that you're going to get another very healthy revenue stream thrown in there. But yeah, absolutely, knowledge is key. Knowing what is working, what's not, being able to understand why services aren't working and adapt to that, and just understand the profit margin by service, by customer, by supplier. It's all essential, and I think more now than ever, really, with the kind of continuous downward pressure on the margins that we see in the end user marketplace, and the cost of supplies going up.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's something we've got to look for, isn't it? The cost of supply. Wow, in today's age, it seems that's a major issue. Andy, what from your perspective, anything you would offer there?
I think there's a secondary element to the information that Gareth and Nicole were referring to about analysing what's happening, and I think that's, where does your channel organization fit from a core competence or subject matter expertise position, which is that verticality, that fit piece that we were talking about earlier. We as a company, we're the only organization globally that has direct integration to the two key UCaaS platforms that are available out there, Cisco and Microsoft. And so we stay in that position and we offer value to our channel partners. We're 100% channel focused because of that core competence. We stay in that core competence. And if our partners can understand their core competence and their value add, to Nicole's point from earlier, I think that's incredibly powerful at changing perhaps not such a desirable revenue and profitability position into something much better.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an interesting landscape right now, isn't it? Last question for me today. In terms of top advice, what would you offer channel partners for the year ahead? Gareth, would you like to take it on first?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to echo what I said a moment ago, really. I think it's really important, particularly at the moment, just to watch the costs and be on top of that to ensure that you're always being as profitable as you can be, and just employing a few revenue assurance techniques, just making sure that your billing's all just as profitable as it can be each month really makes a huge difference to the bottom line, and there's never been a more important time to do that. And obviously, the more profitable you are, the more that makes other things possible. So I'd say keep an eye on the bottom line.
That's good advice. Andy, what would you say?
I guess it's a little bit more of what we were just talking about. I think that subject matter expertise, find the vendor partners that help you deliver what your customers need in your core vertical areas where you're the subject matter expert. I think working with a 100% channel organization, as Nicole was referring to, I think that's important. Your revenue is then protected, which is Gareth's point. It's getting that picture right that I think will see our partners be even more successful in the coming year.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nicole?
Yeah, so echo Gareth and Andy's advice there. We certainly would be advising our channel partners to look a little bit outside the box. Where we're seeing compete really happen now is that when we're talking about back to business outcomes, the technology, because it's so complex and so advanced and there's so much integration, we see that actually conversations about this stuff are happening outside of the IT environment. The IT guys are the facilitators of delivering this stuff, absolutely. But it is the business owners that are really interested on what is it that's going to make my business more efficient, more proficient, what is going to help my business reach its objectives, reach its goals, and how can technology help me deliver that? And what we're finding is that those conversations, again, are coming out of IT and coming back to the business owners. So I would be advising channel partners to maybe start to, as they're getting this, looking at vertical specialization, to start to talk to people that are making those decisions at that level, as opposed to focusing where we have had to in the last 5 to 10 years because of the commoditization of everything. So yeah, that would be my main element of advice for our channel partners out there today. Fantastic.
Well, lots of great advice there for channel partners out there kind of trying to navigate today's landscape. But it was really great talking to you all today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Rob.
Thanks
very much, Rob.
I'm afraid that's all we got time for today. However, if you're interested in finding out more, don't forget to visit UC Partner Summit for more great discussions. Plus, you can follow all the action on LinkedIn and Twitter using the Powering Partners hashtag. I'm Rob Scott from UC Today. Thanks for watching.